having a support system that encouraged me, I would not be here right now. And I am always seeing a lot of young people, especially in St. Martin, that are extremely exceptional and talented, but they're discouraged to pursue art and what they are passionate and most passionate about. And I can't imagine an existence feeling stifled and feeling like there's no way for one to express themselves. I think that is probably the worst thing you can do in life is not to be able to express and explore a desire, you know. And so I want to be able to help young people along the way that want to pursue the art or just may want to be artistic in some way for pleasure.
And you use experienced artists.
Yes.
You create this bridge between youth that are in need and experienced artists. How did that idea evolve?
Well, I think it's important that young people see professionals that are actually currently doing what they do and they do it well and that have made a mark in what they do. And so I think it's important that they can see that there's a short bridging gap into making it become their reality. And a part of that is being able to actually see someone that is doing it professionally and doing it well. You know, there's one thing to have someone that loves doing it and come into the room and trying to teach you something. But if you're not able to, at this point where technology and everything's by the touch of a screen, if you can't go to YouTube and write someone's name in or Google that person and you don't see them online and you don't see their presence, you kind of, I don't want to say have a lack of value for their work, but you tend to appreciate them more if it's hands-on and you can see what they've accomplished. So to have those people in the room where you can engage in conversation and get guidance and then also get a class with this person, I think
inspiring and teaching young people is such a noble thing to do. But why did you choose art as a vehicle?
Well, I breathe and live it.
Good
It
answer.
comes second nature to me. It's what I do. And so it was just normal and natural for me to do that.
Let's take a quick break.
Great.
We're back with the lovely Nicole deWeever. Nicole, when did you realize you were on the right track with Art Saves Lives? And was it at that point you realized it really works?
Wow. You know, I began in 2013, so we were a little shy of 3 years. But when I realized that it really worked was the first summer program we have. A parent came up to me and she was in tears. And after the program, we have like a culminating event where all the students are on stage and they get to display what they've learned that week. And this lady came up to me and she was crying and she said, "You have no idea how this has changed my daughter." And I just listened and I was in awe because I didn't expect it. And she said, "You know, I usually have to really force my daughter to wake up in the morning to go to school. She's very introverted. She doesn't like to speak. But today I was able to watch her on stage deliver a poem by herself and speaking, projecting out loud in a full room of people. And from the first day she came to the program, I mean, she was literally sitting, waiting for me to drop her the next morning. Her clothes was packed and out the night before, and she was so eager about coming. She said, "You did something to this little girl. You did something to my daughter." And just the beautiful inbox messages that we would receive from kids, you know, their heartfelt thoughts about their experience. And a part of the program every year, we ask them a question about expressing themselves in their experience about Art Saves Lives and what it means to them. And just going through the paragraphs and the language of what they choose to say, you know, it's amazing, you know.
Give us an example of, or a glimpse into one of these programs in St. Martin. What is it like?
Well, we're based on a country club. So basically, we don't have an office space. I work out of my mother's home, very grassroots. But we actually host a program on a country club. Sorry, it's called Plaisance Country Club, and the kids are there from 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. They have classes in yoga, Pilates, spoken word, performance art in vocal performance and voice lessons. They have visual art classes in jewelry design and entrepreneurship. They have classes in drumming, in various dance forms from tap, African dance, Caribbean dance, ballet, modern, hip hop. And then they also take a ceramics and sculpting class. And this year we're offering a class called Art of Alignment and Art of Communication. And we have a class that every student takes that's called Journey to Life Balance, teaching kids how to be creative, innovative leaders, the importance of public speaking, and being able to meet people and make an impression on people the first time you meet someone, you know. And then also we have classes in music production this year, music production and engineering. It's an introduction class. And it's a very eclectic program. And we don't have a setup where you can choose what classes you want to take. We have electives, but every child have to attend the whole entire day's program. So let's say if you come there and you have two left feet and you're a visual artist or you're a singer and you don't dance, you have to dance. So it allows the individual to be stretched in various ways, you know. So it's a solid program.
I saw on your, what's your website address again, by the way?
It's Art Saves Lives Foundation spelled out .org.
ArtSavesLivesFoundation.org. I remember looking at a clip where some young people were talking about what they think of Art Saves Lives. And what was impressed upon me is the discipline. There was one young lady said, well, she couldn't wait to go home and practice. And she can't miss a day because it is so important for her to get her steps. And a young man spoke about the vocals, that if he were not exposed to that, he probably would not have been there. And I'm sitting there totally enthralled because I'm hearing these young people who, and what I got out of it is discipline, desire, commitment, respect. Was that part of your plan to
Of course.
cultivate these various principles?
You know, we want to create well-rounded individuals. You know, I always call my kids ambassadors. I said, you are an ambassador. Not only you're representing yourself or a region, you are representing a people. I said, you have a huge responsibility when you go out into the world, and you're not only representing you. So I call them Art Saves Lives ambassadors. And there's a saying that we have in our organization that they all know, and we say, I am here, and I am worthy. So it's also giving them a sense of confidence and awareness and a sense of value about who they are, and that who they are is enough. You know, so it's teaching these young people how to be responsible human beings.
Give us a success story that really sat well with you.
Well, this year is really a great year for us. We've grown with some of the young kids into now their last year of high school. And we have 2 students that were accepted. One was accepted to the AILE program, the AILE intensive program this summer. So they're not going to be partaking because it conflicts with our program. But it's great. You know, I welcome that change for them to go out into the world. And then we have another student that was accepted to Broadway Dance Center on full scholarship. So it's nice to hear their feedback and their thoughts about how the program has helped them to further them into wanting to strive to leave home and to do this, you know.
How was this, when you first introduced this into St. Martin, how was this received? Was it challenging to...
It was very challenging. You know, people were discouraging me. They said, oh, you know, don't worry yourself with having a foundation because there's about 200 inactive foundations back home, you know. People don't support, you know, you're dealing with the arts and culture, so there's no money there. You're going to come and you're going to try to solicit. Businesses are going to give you the runaround, which is actually very truthful, you know. There's such a struggle in conveying and having to solicit for funds and conveying to these corporations how important it is that they are socially responsible and
what
giving
keeps
back.
you going though?
I mean, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe, and it's those moments where I have those discouraging moments with, let's say, if I have a meeting and I feel like I'm dismissed or I don't feel like there's any feedback that is positive. There's always these little moments where I get a little message, whether it's from a child or a parent, that keeps me stimulated and going, because I know the kind of power it has. So I know.
In the chat room, Anon asks, is this foundation associated with Art Saves Lives, founded by Dean Stalham in 1980?
Not at all.
No. Okay.
No.
Funding.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. This got to be challenging. I mean, was it a lot of out-of-pocket sponsorship?
In the beginning, definitely. In the beginning, it was financial suicide, as my treasurer would call it. We wanted to keep the cost as low as possible for every child. And I forgot to even say that we feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So they're paying very little and they're getting so much, So everything is done based on being able to get as much funding as possible so we can keep the cost as low as possible for every child.
I know you believe in empowering the youth, empowering children. And it's a very noble idea. Why do you give back? Why are you giving back and so much? And why do you continue to give?
I know the importance. I know what it meant even for me to be where I'm at now. I know there was no way that I can accomplish it on my own. As I said before, I had a support system.
Yeah.
And there's many kids out there that are extremely talented. They have raw talent and they need to be nurtured and they need to be supported. And if they don't have someone like myself or the team that I have that believes in the work that we do, it's hard to say this, but it's very true. They don't go home to parents that say, not everyone have a parent that's supportive. What we do our best to do is empower the child, and then they have to go home to the reality of their circumstances. And then if they don't have parents that are empowering them, then what we're doing is at a loss. Because then it needs to be all around. So it's very important that we continue to do what we do so we can encourage them to do what they love.
Let's say this just takes off in St. Martin and ripples through the island. What is next? What is your hope for this movement, so to speak?
Well, my hope is that we have more arts in education in public schools, in schools in general, because what happens usually is they take out these programs that are most important, where the kids really need to be stimulated creatively. All these programs are being taken out, and it's only the kids that have parents that can afford to send them to institutions or to after-school programs that can go to programs. But a majority of kids that don't have parents that can afford to take them to a private dance school or be able to play an instrument or go to a place where they can learn how to play the piano, if they don't have parents that can actually afford to send them to these private schools, they're literally either wandering the streets or watching television all day. And so what we're really trying to do is have the programming create this type of mold that hopefully eventually the government will subsidize and be able to push it into the public schools and in the schools, so it's beyond just having a presence in the summer, that we're extended throughout the year where they'll have activities throughout the year.
I saw another clip where there was this young woman, perhaps a motivational speaker, at least.
Yes,
what
Halima
she was
Nash.
saying. What's her name?
Halima Nash.
Halima Nash. Where she was inspiring and motivating young people to believe in themselves and to develop their confidence and so on. How important is that to your program?
It's very important. We also do a lot of community outreach. So every artist, like specifically Halima Nash, we would position them in different organizations like the foster care homes, the community center. We have like a community center that's in one of the most challenging neighborhoods, and we go out into those organizations and those places where the kids wouldn't have access. So the importance of that is that we are trying our best to use the art to create conversation and dialogue, whether it is about what's happening that's unjust in the in community or in our government, wherever it is, we're trying to stir up a sense of how would I say, a movement in a sense, to bring people's consciousness to the forefront, like to empower them.
I call what you're doing, I call and all the different things a model. Did this evolve organically, or you had everything sorted out first and then you implemented?
Well, at first I wanted to do a magnet program that was just based on kids that were artistic and they wanted to express themselves and be able to stretch them in different various forms. And then my very dear friend Erica Kanagita started a foundation called Be the Change Foundation. And we worked in collaboration together my first year, where she deals specifically with NGOs and organizations in the community. And what I did is, with my initiative, position artists that were working for me currently on my magnet program in the NGOs that she was a part of or affiliated with, and we would place artists in those different various organizations to give back as in community service. So that's when the whole extension of outreach came about through Be the Change Foundation.
How do you reach your artists? How do you choose them?
Well, I have a huge network from being in the city and having a career where it goes from being in a commercial dance world to the Broadway world to the concert dance world. And then also having gone to Tisch, I mean, I have access to people that I went to school with that were filmmakers, that were visual artists, that were designers. So I pull from people that I've worked with professionally, as well as some people I went through their management.
What is it like when you approach one of these people you've gone to school with, or that and you pitch the idea? What is it typically like?
Well, they're excited, I feel like I have very like-minded people that I gravitate towards. Like, they're all like very conscious about the importance of what they do with their art. So I tend to gravitate towards people that have the same vision in mind. They love what they do. They're thriving in their career, but they also know the importance of community.
For those days, Nicole, when you don't feel like getting up and doing what you have to do, who or what gets you out of that mindset?
Wow. I can't even place exactly what it is. But I remember you said you used the word energy, but I feel like my desire, I have such a burning desire to change the world. It may sound a little cliche and kind of cheesy to say it. There's no other way to say it, but I just feel like being here is more than just serving myself. My whole life experience as I've gotten older has been more about not only expressing myself as an artist on stage or entertaining, but also how can I really make change as an individual. It has to start with just that one action, that one impulse, that one desire. And that desire is what's keeping me going.